Hello again, everybody. I did a video this morning about Gonzalo Lira. About 16 minutes. It took YouTube nearly 2 hours to upload it. But now I'm here in one of the centers of Minsk. And as you see right over here, that's the gates of Minsk. Very famous landmark. This is the train station. I remember being here in about the year 2000. You know, it was state of the art, more modern than anything I saw in Germany. And if you look right over that way, you see a sign that says Galileo. That's not a supermarket. That's a shopping mall, big shopping mall. There's a lot of shopping malls in Minsk. And if I pan over this way, that's part of the university, what is it called? It's BGU, the main university, one of the main universities in Belarus, Minsk. And I am going to try to go behind. This is the old train station over here. It used to be the main building, and behind, if you see, it says Minsk. That's a shopping mall, and I'm gonna try to go over that way and walk through. It's fairly new. It's possibly, I don't know, you can't say a year old. I'm not quite even sure how you designate of when it opened, because I was here, I think it was in the summertime, and it wasn't quite opened. I think they had a supermarket in there operating, if I can remember properly, but most all the places were not really open yet, with a lot of shops and things. And this is a Friday, 21st of February, in case I didn't say that, about 12:35. Well, it's probably like 12, might be 12:40 right now. And I hope I can find my way over there. I'm gonna go through the tunnels down here. There's the train tracks right over here. And well, let's see what we can do. Let's see if I can get through here properly. And I'll be talking maybe some news on the way, talk news when I get there. And yes, nice beautiful lady there. For those of you interested, okay. Get the moisture out of my eyes here. It was freezing out there. Change of climate. How in the heck do I get over there? I don't know. I was thinking there was a tunnel going this direction, but apparently not. So let's see what this is all about on the other side of this one. I hope I'm not going to be running you guys in circles and not get there. Okay. Macron. He has said he is going to be the guarantor of Ukraine's security. A lot of these things are very strange. Matter of fact, it's obvious I cannot get over there from here. I don't know if there's another underpass or not. It doesn't look like it. Not from here. Well, let's just walk over here just to be sure. I'm actually mostly doing the news anyway here. Look, you can catch yourself a train to Moscow. Minsk, Belarus. Maybe these are more like arrivals here. How do I get over there? That doesn't look like any kind of an elevator place. This is going to be kind of an adventure trying to get over to that shopping mall. Crazy. I think I was here before when they were building this, and it came across being very odd that they have a underpass right here and you can't get there from this underpass, which doesn't make any sense. Well, let's just see what's going on here. Let me put this on pause for a minute here, okay? Just until I get my direction figured out. Well, anyway, I asked somebody and I found that I have to. Nobody ever speaks English over here. Damn them anyway. What's the matter with them? So, found out how to get there. Let me show you some of the shops down here. A lot of time underneath these metros, lots of shops and things. So flowers and drinks and fruits and obviously there's magazines, everything you can think of. Yeah, I've been this way before. Oh, that's a long way. Look at that. Okay, so Macron is going to be the guarantor, as he says, of Ukraine's security, you know, they don't even share a border. They're not even anywhere close. So how are you going to ferry? Well, you know, I'll tell you what. That's it's absolutely simple. Absolutely simple. Anybody who thinks in their right mind, after this war is over, of course, that Russia has any designs to attack Minsk, you know, has got a screw loose. It's more likely that Ukraine, just like, well, you know what happened this last time. They provoked Russia to where they had to respond. And, you know, not to mention the fact that technically this used to be Ukrainian territory in the Donbass for a short period of time. Well, actually not that short when you talk about that area. It was like maybe, who knows, when did Lenin cede the Donbass to Ukraine? As you know, Ukraine is just a made-up country. All kinds of different parts from different Soviet leaders gave it to the area called Ukraine. And then, of course, you know, Ukraine is always crying and saying how badly they were treated by the Soviet Union, when the truth of the matter is it was just a very small area on their own without the Soviet Union. So they owe everything to the Soviet Union. They owe all their industry, everything to the Soviet Union, but yet they're crying how everything was unfair because of the Soviet Union. And who knows, at least half of the leaders of the Soviet Union were Ukrainian. And those that weren't were very sympathetic for Ukraine, such as Stalin. Stalin comes from Georgia, and he gave huge amounts of territory to the country of Ukraine, which wasn't a country, which was a region. But there was a time when I guess you could call it a country. I guess it was in the year 1918, and I think it only lasted like for 1 year. And otherwise, Ukraine has never been a country, contrary to what you hear. The whole place, everything about Ukraine is nothing but fake. It's fake information, fake history, everything is fake. And the truth of the matter is, the beginnings of Russian history is Ukraine. I mean, Kiev was one of the main portions, oh, here I am in the right place, was one of the main beginnings of the Russian nation. I think that I didn't look very pretty, so the door wouldn't open up for me. So where in the heck am I as far as relation? I've come out in a different place before. Oh, actually, I think it's this building right here is new. I was here, like I said, maybe it was like I don't know, about a year ago. This was not built, I don't think. Maybe it was. Maybe I just came out on a different exit. You know how life is. Okay, let's keep going here. Did I mention it's like a very warm -7 degrees centigrade? Somebody asked me if it was Celsius or centigrade. And again, let me mention to somebody at one time, I guess in one of my last videos, apparently they posted my video somewhere, so I got like, I think I was saying when I talked about Gonzalo Lira, I was saying like 500 views, but it's actually like 770. So, and I think I only picked up 10 subscribers. Most people are not really so interested in geopolitical news, or they believe maybe they can get it better at some other places, and maybe you can, but I say a lot of things and I notice other people don't say them, which is very strange. Things that should be well known, and I've said things which is kind of appealing. A lot of people have noticed that I say something and then it comes out in the regular news sometimes a week later. Why people don't report some of these things, maybe they think it's insignificant or whatever, and I can tell you, luckily I've found some things that were significant and reported them. Mark Formel. So let's see what's going on here. I think on Sunday I was planning on going to another shopping mall that just opened like some weeks ago. This one I don't know when the official opening was. Of course, you cannot see the lit display right here because the sun is shining on it. But I think this one maybe an official opening. Might have been. Who knows? Maybe 6 months ago. I don't know. So we'll see. Okay, I haven't been getting too far in the news yet, have I? Okay, guaranteer. So I should mention, along with that, as Macron saying that he is going to be the guarantor of Ukraine's security. You can just like 2 weeks ago, I think this was put out by Maria Zakharova, I always say it wrong, that Zelensky was saying he's the guarantor of the security of Europe. So that's very strange. So Zelensky was begging, matter of fact, off and on he's been begging anyway about security guarantees, but yet he's been telling Europe that he is the security guarantee for Europe. So why would he need a guarantor when he is the guarantor of Europe's security? It just doesn't make sense. Somebody is lying here, or somebody is delusional, and they don't even realize they're delusional. They give you one piece of information and yet they contradict their own information, which is very strange. Looks like a French shop for perfume. Normally they have somebody out here passing little pieces of paper with some kind of a scent on here, hoping that you're going to go in there and buy some perfume or whatever. So, as I say, I'm just going to spin around. A lot more people than before. It was pretty much very sparse when I was here before, and most all these places were not rented out, and now everything is pretty full. You've got every place is with a business inside of it now. Okay, keep on going with the news there, boy. I should mention also, Zelensky's, even with all his crying, Russia wants to kill me. He says he's a very honest man. Very honest guy, of course. Oh, look at here, you can lock your things up. It's very small. These things seem to be getting smaller as years go by. So let me get upstairs. Actually, there's not a lot. I'll tell you, this is a Friday, it's a Friday afternoon, and you probably come here on a weekend, or maybe in the evening time, a little bit later, maybe give a couple hours. Since it is Friday, everything, starts getting crowded earlier on Friday. So if you probably came here, maybe in about at least 2 or 3 hours, everything would be quite crowded. So, yes, Vance was giving a speech, and he was actually trying to be a little bit humorous, and he was mentioning that the UK may be the first Islamic nation with nuclear weapons. England. Everybody's talking about how this is. Even people that I've even talked to online, and they say they go into places that were all British, fully British, and now there is no British there. You can walk into these neighborhoods and you do not see a white person, you don't see a British person. It's all Pakistani and African and everything, the entire neighborhoods, entire areas that were always traditionally British. And I don't have anything against Muslims or any people from any place, but it is obviously, it is Britain themselves that are screwing themselves over. And I think it's very possible Minsk, or what am I saying? Well, let me say Vance, he himself mentioned that, I guess, at the Munich conference. He was actually alluding to the fact that Europe is screwing themselves over. And if you know George Soros, he's of course running the show, and it's George Soros himself that wants this to happen. Who knows why he wants this to happen? He's getting a lot of money, as everybody knows, and it was actually mentioned, through this scandal of this U.S. aid scandal, that like I said, I was thinking, and a lot of other vloggers were thinking, that George Soros was putting his own money and, wondering what he gets from paying for all of this stuff, of all these refugees to flood into Europe and all. But it turns out he is getting paid. He was getting paid by U.S. aid. Now, is this a plot by the United States to flood Europe, and make it lose its identities, of all these countries? But the U.S. is doing the same thing by letting everybody flood in from, well, I'm talking about the Biden years. Trump is actually putting a halt to that and actually deporting people. It's not that, I don't think he has anything against the people, but he wants the culture that has been developed in the United States to stay the same. So, and they call it nationalism, I guess. So, national, right wing, far right. I guess that's called far right. If you like your culture, so you should actually try to destroy your culture. It's like the Soros people did. Okay, that's kind of a nice view here. So let me talk about some of the news while I'm standing here. And the software guy, the guy whose name I can't mention? I would just call him Billy Boy. The guy, he was into the medications and all that, 2020 and 2021. It seems to be when I mention his name, my channel, I get punished for that. So it's my channel is suppressed, and that's one of the main reasons. If I talk about laboratories, especially in Ukraine, I have to be careful in what words I use, because if I get strikes, I get taken down all the time for that. Other people can say this stuff, I can't say it. I guess they love my channel. That's a children's shop over here. You'll see that if I go to this other mall on Sunday, which I was planning on doing, that same store is right there. Matter of fact, I did this last video, and I tagged it on the back of the video. I think it was yesterday, or the one I just uploaded. And of course, it shows that, I believe it shows that shop as well. So, famous children's shop in Belarus. Okay. Anyway, this software guy, he went to Donald Trump, and he is telling him to lay off of U.S. aid. Not telling him, he's asking him. At least he's smart enough to ask and request. And of course, this software guy, he's got billions. Donald Trump has a few billion of his own. He's got a very good friend that has more billions than the software guy. That's probably why he was asking. Otherwise, he probably would have been threatening. And the software guy, I don't know if he can compete against the guy that runs the social media platform that's a very good friend of Donald Trump's, Elon. So anyway, the software guy said, it could, cutting things in U.S. aid could be could kill tens of millions of people, but it's normally the other way around. I guess this U.S. aid is the chief mechanism that is used to overthrow governments. And if you ask yourself, well, hey, that was one of the main things that overthrew the government in Ukraine, and may not be tens of millions, but hundreds of thousands of people died. But even, Bill Gates saying tens of millions, that's a complete and utter bunch of bullcrap. Maybe he's actually warning Trump. He says, well, I'm going to come out with something else, the same sort of thing I came out with at the end of 2019 and throughout 2020 and 21, and we got the social distancing. I'll come out with another one of those things, unless you leave U.S. aid alone. Maybe that was a warning. I don't know. Don't tell Trump that, because I don't know. Old Billy Boy, if he has something like that, he's going to come out with it anyway. As you know, he was part of Planned Parenthood, and I think his parents were as well. And of course, the whole idea of that is population reduction. And Klaus Schwab, all these people, that's what their main goal is. They think they're doing society and the world a great favor by wiping out, and they want to wipe out billions of people. It's like, what a conspiracy theorist from you saying this. They've come out and they have said this themselves, And I mentioned the magic number, 15%, along with this software guy, and this 15% actually goes, I have to be careful here. There's a whistleblower from Pfizer, and when you talk about these VATs of 100, which I'm going to have to be leaving words out and things. There's a VAT of 100, and only 15 of them are what is supposed to be out of all of these 100 and then sent out to all these places. And if it was 100%, sorry to be talking like this, but I can't come right out and say these things because I definitely will get a strike, and this video and my channel will be taken down permanently. Trust me, if they can read through all this, and they probably listen to my videos, and I don't know, but there's a magic number of 15, which is 15% out of 100, and 15 are the real thing, and the other ones are, what do I call this word, placebos. I can't get any more revealing than that, but that is a big theory in a lot of people. I don't know. Let me just leave it at that. Okay. Another thing. Old Elon, he's saying that they're going to audit the gold in Fort Knox. So that would be something. And Donald Trump is saying that nobody even knows if there is anything there anyway. Very strange. I think the last time was 1974, and since that time nobody knows. There's no witnesses to say that there is anything in Fort Knox there. And a lot of people know that a lot of the holdings of gold from other countries, I guess, I don't know if it still is in Russia, Russian holdings too. It was in the basement of the Federal Reserve of New York. And Germany, I guess they called for 50% of that gold to be released back to them, because the people in Germany were pretty, highly ticked off because there was no guarantee that their gold was actually there. And it turns out that when the United States sent half of Germany's gold back, it wasn't even Germany's gold. Germany's gold was very high content. It was like 99% gold, and they sent something back to Germany, which maybe was like 96%, 95%, maybe even 94% gold. So it wasn't very pure gold, and that's half of it. And I'm not sure, because France had a portion of Germany's gold as well, and I'm not quite sure if they ever sent that back. I don't know if the people were demanding that or not. So one of the things that has ticked off Donald Trump and a lot of people in his administration is he sent the Treasury Secretary, and I think even J.D. Vance was talking about this. A lot of people were talking about this. The Treasury Secretary was sent over to Zelensky, maybe to sign this document about what Zelensky promised about the gold, about the minerals, that the United States gets some percentage of the minerals, or at least to talk to Zelensky about it. And the Secretary of the Treasury was told that he can't meet with Zelensky because Zelensky overslept. Somebody made a cartoon and they used, it was like maybe deep fake, and they showed Zelensky sleeping on the floor and somebody coming to wake him up and all that. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That's pretty funny too. I don't know. You'd have to find that if you really want to see it. Okay. In other words, Zelensky refused to meet the Secretary of the Treasury. I'll talk a little bit about these minerals and things as this video progresses. Denmark is now telling all their people that they have to be ready for a tremendous tax increase, because of Trump, indicating that he is sympathetic to Russia. And in other words, they're thinking that Russia is going to attack. Actually, they know very well Russia's not going to attack, but they were using, as I've said and a lot of people say, and it's just like in the United States, they're using the military-industrial complex to fleece their people, and they trim a whole bunch of that stuff off the top and stick it in their pockets, and just like Denmark. And remember Denmark, they're the ones that gave the entirety of their air force to Ukraine. They were completely without an air force because they gave it all to Ukraine. And then Trump was talking about Greenland, as you all know, and you have to wonder, well, what is Denmark going to use to defend Greenland? But Greenland, they want to be independent. They don't want to be a part of Denmark. They don't want to be a part of the United States. They want to be their own country. But if Trump is actually any kind of a negotiator, he can actually arrange something with Greenland. I think I've even said in my video I could arrange it. I could definitely do that. I could go to them, and I could give them a deal that would be. Matter of fact, I should go in between the United States and Greenland and set up a deal. You know, you can give them 100% autonomy, and the United States can get what they want from Greenland, and they can help Greenland. If they have any rare minerals, they can help them get those minerals, and you don't need 100% or 50% or whatever, if that is in case what they are actually trying to get from Ukraine. But you know, that's much different when you think about Ukraine, because Ukraine, and what's true, and everybody's talking about it, they fleeced the United States. And Donald Trump is, of course, pissed off about it because there were some guarantees for Europe. Europe gave the money to Ukraine as a loan, and the United States, under Joe Biden, was just handing out the money. So apparently, Joe Biden was handing out hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to all kinds of people. And it really makes you wonder if he was sensing that he's not going to be elected for another term. But it makes you wonder when the inflation is going to kick in of all of this lost money. And it is beyond any shadow of a doubt, it is many trillions of dollars. You know, the mismanagement under Joe Biden. And as I said in that video earlier this morning, that it's very, very possible. A lot of people theorize that it was actually Tony Blinken that was running the entire show. Joe Biden, he does not have the mental capacity to be doing anything like running a country, being the president of any country. So whoever was doing anything there, they were completely unaccountable. So can you imagine what you can do, what you can get away with if you're never going to be held to account for whatever you're doing, like Tony Blinken, for example. And that's exactly what has probably happened. You know, in the United States, and maybe even the entire world, we've already been experiencing heavy inflation. You know, so less said about that. Maybe I'm boring people. I don't know. But the amount that they're expected. What does it say? Oh, the Danish people are expected to be paying 12,000, I assume, dollars more per year, or maybe it was a family. Let's see. Yeah, each family is supposed to be paying an additional $12,000 per year. You know, maybe to rebuild their military after they gave it all to Ukraine. You know, because Ukraine is the guarantor of the security of Europe, and they knew that. You know. Oh. More news that came out, and I guess there's some evidence about this. I don't know, maybe if it's witnesses, but Joe Biden, he also ordered the coup in Romania. What we mean by the coup is that, you know, they had an election, and the powers that be didn't like the results because, you know, the guy that was actually far more popular than all of the other candidates, they didn't like that. Joe Biden didn't like it, so they nullified the elections. You know, and they call that democracy. In other words, it's not the opposite of democracy, which is what it actually is. So we don't like the results, so we're going to nullify it. We're going to nullify the election. Oh, I was reading an article this morning, and he's a great journalist. This guy, his name is Tarek Cyril Amar, and he was talking about Annalena Baerbock. And Annalena Baerbock, and I mentioned in one video, and I guess I got the number wrong, but I was saying that she had said that the European Union is in the process of sending Zelensky 400 billion, but it's not 400 billion. It turns out it's 700 billion. 700 billion. And of course, they're not going to be sending 700 billion. They don't have 700 billion, and they can't even get 700 billion. They don't have the reserve currency in the world like the United States. The United States can send money that they don't have, that's not going to exist for many years. But Europe can't do that. And Europe has always fallen short of whatever they promised to Ukraine. Who knows how many tanks or anything like that. But it actually translates that they're going to try to send a lot of money to Zelensky. And who knows? I don't know if this promise was made or if these plans were made before the Trump and Putin phone call. It's going to be interesting to find out. But I think Macron also, just today, just before I started this video, he was saying that they all have to band together, mostly to send a bunch of money to Ukraine, and take charge of their own security, kind of speak. Well, actually, Trump's been telling them that. Everybody's been telling them that all this time. So, there's another member of parliament has exposed Zelensky on another issue. His name is Artyom Dmitrich. He said that Zelensky has also been fooling the world about how much mineral wealth is in Ukraine. And some people, now they've pushed it way up to $15 trillion, And one main thing is that a lot of this wealth that they're talking about, which is not 15 trillion, which is a big lie, but it's all located, obviously, in the Russian-controlled sector. So the vast majority of it. And he was talking, I guess he's a guy that's in the know, and he was saying that they do not know how much it's going to cost to extract these minerals. And a lot of the part that might be in Ukraine is actually under active combat at this present time. That can be solved, of course, with the United States and the agreements with, more peace between Putin and Trump, but I don't know. But he also said that if there was such tremendous wealth, Ukraine would have been extracting that wealth long ago, if there was that kind of wealth there. In other words, it's not there. And there was a commodities expert, somebody who knows this stuff. His name is Javier, not Javier, I don't know. Xavier normally starts with an X. This is Javier Blas. And he said that Trump's expectations on the mineral wealth in Ukraine are greatly exaggerated. So that sounds like rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. So in other words, it's there's not, I don't know, all of the signs are pointing to the fact that there is not such tremendous mineral wealth in Ukraine after all. So everybody has been exaggerating this very, very high. So, some breaking news, I guess. The new health secretary, RFK Jr., he stated that the new government declaration that, and this is going to shock a lot of people, but mothers are female and fathers are male. And I know a lot of people are going to be crying about that because that's very, very difficult to believe, Fathers are male and mothers are female. What an interesting concept. That's revolutionary. Nobody has ever thought of that before. But what he didn't say was that, what does it say? They did not say that husbands or wives have to be of either gender. But the United States has come out, the audacity of the United States came out and said there are only two genders. That was already weeks ago. That was right at the beginning of Trump's presidency. He said there are only two genders. I don't know if I can accept that, but that's what they said. Okay. There is another agent. This is pretty interesting. I think this is something from Elon Musk. There's an agency called Open the Books. And this is really shocking stuff. They've divulged that there's a massive, a lot of more financial corruption than you can imagine. There's a group. Wait a minute. Said let's see. The Department of Education. And you were thinking, oh, that's corrupt. And I think even Ron Paul said that way back in around 2006. That he would get rid of the Department of Education. There's so many of these departments, and obviously all of these people that are in these departments, they were given these jobs for political favors. They're not needed. All these things are not needed. They're not needed at all. But they just create these things to give some favor to people, and then they steal money from people to give them for these salaries for these people. And then of course they increase their staffs bigger and bigger, for more political things, and on all day they have buddies and they're just passing out these jobs, making jobs that are not even needed. So what do we have here? But the Department of Education, and some of the information that was put out that in The year 2000, their budget was $33.4 billion, which is way, way, way too high, and it's, and people were really crying back in those days. But in 2024, under Joe Biden, it jumped to $250.7 billion, for a department that's not even needed. And I think there were some Congress people coming out and said there is no Department of Education, when obviously there is a Department of Education, and they're stealing lots of money. So, what else we have here? The amount of people that were employed there, it used to be 4,900, and it jumped up to 4,245, if that's anything. National Institute of Health, NIH, the one that Fauci was heading. Their budget grew 301% under Biden. 301%. But if you want to hear something more shocking, the spending on FEMA increased 2,096%. You guys, if you're watching this, and it doesn't bore you so much, I mean, if you really start to consider this, you start to think about all of the money that was stolen. I mean, under Joe Biden. I mean, talk about reckless spending. I mean, this is beyond reckless spending. This is just nothing but massive theft. So, 2,096%. Wow, an increase. That's the increase. How much more they increased FEMA? And did they do a great job with all that money and all these funds when the fires were going in California just recently? I don't know. U.S. aid spending increased 468%. Wow. And the staff increased by 218%. And it makes you wonder how much these things have been increasing every single year, getting more and more and more people. It's not like, I don't know, these people are mostly overthrowing governments. That's their biggest task. Okay, I said I was gonna talk more about these minerals, and Marco Rubio came out and he said that Zelensky had originally agreed to the minerals deal. And then 2 days later, after that, he completely refused and he wouldn't sign it and all that. And, you guys heard all those excuses, even when he said it was a great deal and it was a fair deal trade. And, I find it very obvious, and I think it's maybe, I don't know what the original thing was, how much, maybe they didn't mention percentages, but the United States came up and said they get 50%. That's very high when you think about it. It's very high. Maybe, how Donald Trump works things out. He'll come out with something like that, and most of the time people will balk at it and they'll say, no, that's not right, let's do something else. But apparently Zelensky just ran away, and he probably could have said, well, 30%, and I think Donald Trump probably would have gone for it. That's just my opinion. And so one reason why he turned it down was, of course, it was too much. And another thing that happened, and probably, there's two main reasons. One of them is, they're prosecuting Petro Poroshenko, which is a former president of Ukraine at this present time. And Zelensky, the main charges against him is for selling out Ukraine and selling the properties and selling everything from Ukraine. And given that happening, do you think that the people would look on Zelensky favorably when he signs some sort of a deal that gives the United States 50% of the mineral wealth of Ukraine? I don't think so. But what is the bigger reason? I mean, it's not like it's a bigger reason, but it's another reason, is that, I don't know why she was looking at me really close. I should have put her on camera. You guys would say, what's he doing? But anyway, I think the bigger reason is, I think this was, when he promised this, I think that was before the phone call between Putin and Trump. And if it wasn't, say that it was after the phone call, but it maybe the things that happened even after that phone call, and then maybe, obviously, that he would be talking to Baerbock, and a lot of people are saying that it's actually the UK that runs that runs. I don't know. The Russians, some of them have this theory that it was the UK that actually runs Zelensky, and he's in charge of Zelensky and everything Zelensky does. I don't know, to be honest with you, but like some buttons. You like buttons? So, okay, let me finish up what I was saying there. And we all know what Zelensky's out for. He loves money. He loves money very, very much. And he obviously, I mean, when you send hundreds of thousands of people to their guaranteed death, it shows what he thinks of the Ukrainian people. And when he's selling all these properties to BlackRock, which he certainly is, and everybody knows that, it makes you wonder, well, he doesn't really like the country of Ukraine either. He doesn't respect the people, he doesn't respect the country, but he does respect his paycheck. He's getting a lot of money. He bought a lot of properties, everybody knows, casinos, wineries, you know, very famous things like on Baker Street, and I mentioned that already last time, a lot of famous properties. Who knows how many properties they actually bought? Do you think he's going to disclose everything? When everybody's watching him and criticizing him for everything that he's buying, do you think he's going to disclose all that stuff? You know, we're probably only hearing about the tip of the iceberg. I can only imagine on some of the other things that he has bought. And he's very rich. He owns the entire media industry in all of Ukraine. You know, he's got lots of offshore companies. Everybody knows that. So I think the main thing that he is really ticked off about, and the reason why he's not wanting to deal with and sign this, and he's staying away, he actually wants to keep the war going. And even Donald Trump said that. Donald Trump, the audacity of him coming out and speaking his mind. I think his words were he wants to keep the gravy train running. And a lot of these other people do it. Obviously, a lot of these politicians in Europe, they want to keep the gravy train running. These people are getting a lot of money. I've mentioned that, you know. So these people are keeping the gravy train running. These are security people. I don't know. I was thinking they were after me. But probably not. Anyway, they want to keep the gravy train running. And Army man, oh no, I'm in trouble now. They're sending the troops in. Actually, I'm pretty warm. I got to get out of here because I'm going to burn up in my coat here. But but nice smiles from the people from the lands of smiles, you know, in Asia. So anyway, it's the money. He's out for himself, and he wants to keep the gravy train running. And maybe he's saying with this deal, and he doesn't want the war to end, because I even said this, a lot of people say the best way to make money is during wars, you know, especially when you're dealing with weapons and things like that. People make a huge amount of money, especially when you're taking those weapons and you're sending them off to other countries and you're reselling them again, probably at much higher prices, selling them to terrorists that are enemies of the United States. So they're selling American weapons to terrorist groups that see the United States as their enemy. I don't know if Trump has actually mentioned that. Obviously, there's a lot of people that know this. You know that. Anybody that watches this channel, they know that. So just something to think about. And obviously, that now Putin and Trump are making nice, that has got Zelensky stinking angry. That's got him stinking angry because that's going to cut off his money supply big time. And I don't know if he really does hate Putin. I mean, you would think that he hates Putin with every fiber of his body, because Putin has his number. Ooh, this is a long way down, baby. Woo! Sport coat. Oh man, it just looks pretty frightening. I'm gonna jump. Well, that's mostly about what I was going to talk about with Zelensky and why you know, just stinking angry. And of course, Europe is stinking angry. All these leaders, Kayakov, these people are so indelibly corrupt, and they are making huge sums of money, and that's what's pissing them off more than anything. So you would think, you listen to these people say, wow, you know, that's a great thing. Donald Trump is making peace. That's the best thing of all, making peace, brings stability. But how many times have people said that what they don't want is stability? Because with instability, a lot of people, corrupt people, can make a lot of money when things are unstable, and that's exactly what these people are all about. But you know, you can thank the United States. You have these people like Obama and Biden. They're the ones that put these people in these positions. They're the ones that made sure that they put their puppets in these positions. So they got all these corrupt people that are just stealing their people's money, stealing everybody's money, making money off of blood. Very bad. This is a, I don't know. Can Donald Trump stop all this? I mean, and look at this. You have the AFD, and you have, what is Marine Le Pen's party's name? But they're, and in Romania, you know, all these people that they're blocking, and they're making sure do not get in office. These are people that don't like wars, and they want to get along with Russia, and they're making sure these people never get into power. So you have this system going. It's incredible. This corrupt system to fleece the people, to make sure that there's never going to be peace. I mean, it's really, really amazing that you could find such dastardly people. I mean, it's like, well, where do they get these people? You know, you get all these dastardly people that hate humanity, they hate their countries, and they're all the ones that are running everything, you know? And they try to do everything to block anybody that is out for human good. Wow, unbelievable. I'm sorry, but that's the absolute truth, undeniable. I mean, I don't know, can anybody argue with what I just said? I don't think so. But we said we love our people. Yeah, well, why don't you show it? Why don't you do some things that actually benefit your country and your people? We are. How is it that Donald Trump can get in there and in 3 weeks start doing things, trying to bring peace about, and it's very obvious, everybody can see that he's doing things to try to benefit, you know, the United States, and not really, except for maybe in Gaza, not harm any other places. This guy's making too much noise. I need to walk through here, but I guess I'm not going to. I think this place has got some big sales. I saw some advertisement somewhere. I don't know. So let's go. Let's see. This guy running around with his floor cleaner. It's probably not dirty anyway. You know, these people have to do this. You know, just because that's what it's all about. You know, clean up, clean floor. That's Belarus. Sometimes. Okay. So, Israel. They have launched another operation, this time in the West Bank. You know, it's a strange thing. Hamas, these vicious killers, apparently, they bombed 3 buses, all in different areas. Empty buses in parking lots. Nobody got killed. The buses burned. So, for that reason, Netanyahu has launched these operations and is destroying all kinds of buildings and everything like that inside of the West Bank. I think they were mentioning some sort of a neighborhood or whatever the deal is. But if you all know what really happened on October 7th, and there's way too many witnesses, and of course, any of these witnesses that come out and say what they saw, that Israel was the one, and I you know, it's really strange, I can get away with saying this stuff, but let me just say, that country that is claiming that they were attacked are the ones that actually killed a lot of their own people. And it used to be the fact that Israel did not kill Jewish people, but you know, they don't care about killing Goy, anybody else that is not Israeli, because there's a big history of that, as you all can see. But oh wow, nice looking girl there. But anyhow, what was I going to say? That girl distracted me. Why did she have to look that way? But okay. But if you look at what happened on that October 7th, the vicious Hamas, they wanted, as you know, let me just go over this very briefly. And this was proven by a great reporter, Max Blumenthal, one of the best investigative reporters probably on the planet, at least in English. And by the way, he happens to be Jewish, you know, and he exposed a lot of what was going on there. And, you know, he talked with witnesses. And this country, they did this. Israel did it because they wanted to justify this operation in Gaza and destroy the entire place because they're trying to get those people out. They want to take over all of that land, and obviously it's, you know, the Palestinians are becoming less and less as time goes by, and they're getting squeezed out. And he wanted, you know, to take Gaza, and now we're hearing, oh, what a great place, we can make it into the Riviera and all this. Too bad that Donald Trump is taking part in this. Donald Trump, maybe he might not want to kill any people, you know, not like what he did against Soleimani. This guy with this machine is coming again. I have to get out of here. So, sorry about showing you all these really hot girls here. I'm going in that store. But this guy, maybe he's done over here, making noise. Walk over here. But Hamas was there to try to get hostages and use those hostages and trade those Israeli hostages to get Palestinian hostages. They weren't really out to kill anybody at all. Matter of fact, you know, they had these hang gliders, and yet they're trying to say that Hamas, if you see the huge destruction, this was done by Apache helicopters with flamethrowers and all that. Hamas does not have that sort of thing, and they didn't do that. There's this guy, man, he's coming back here. I don't know, maybe he is in love with me. Where is he? He's mad. I'm just gonna watch and see where he goes. I don't know. Why did he go over there? And now he's back here again. Isn't he finished with this area? Going back and forth and going around in circles? I was already upstairs. I don't want to go back there again. Okay. Enough about Israel. I don't want to talk more about that. You guys kind of have the impression it's not what it is. It is what it is. It's not what it is. So let me see that. Actually, I'm towards the end of this stuff anyway. Okay, people in some of the breaking news, I don't know, the stories haven't not really come out yet. Maybe they've come out already since I've been making this video, but apparently the Trump administration is saying that they want, you know, of course, probably by vote, they want Zelensky out. They said apparently, and I don't think it was Trump, but somebody in his administration said they want him out, they want him gone by election. Not that they're going to take him out, of course, but they want him out, and they are suggesting that he goes to France. And obviously Macron is madly in love. You know, Macron, he has a thing for men, and if you guys have been following Candace Owens, you'll find out that, you know, you'll find out a little bit about Brigitte. And I think Candace Owens has put up some really, really startling things. And there are some reporters that have been reporting that in France. And of course, one has tried to ask for asylum in Russia. And of course, they're really going after these people. And I think they're taking them to court and all that. And nothing has been proven that anything that they said is wrong or false. So you'd have to look up and watch Candace Owens, and I think she'll be very convincing. She said she will stake everything. I don't know. I can't remember what she said she will stake, but she will stake all of it on the fact that she's telling the truth and that she knows what she's talking about. So, and Candace Owens, she's not anybody that I would be messing around with, to be honest with you. She knows her thing. And somebody came out, I guess, and they were saying that Tulsi Gabbard, you know, like a lot of them are saying that Tulsi Gabbard is terrible or doesn't know what she's doing or something like that. So that actually just tells you that that Tulsi Gabbard is really good. So I should be showing you guys these girls, but for that I need a hidden camera. I don't like to stick my phone in people's faces. Security guy over there. So what else? Okay, there's U.S. senators. There's some, I think Mike Lee from Utah. I guess he's leading the charge, and they're trying to put a bill through where the United States backs out of the United Nations. So I don't know if this has happened before. A lot of people have been suggesting it. Donald Trump has even suggested it. And Mike Lee is a Republican. So, you know, might be suggested by other Republicans. Who knows what's going to happen? It's kind of a big move. You got to consider that the United Nations building, and there's a lot of money involved, lots of complexes, and it's in New York, and you got to think of all these diplomats and how much money they spend for renting their offices, renting their apartments. I mean, maybe you could even say that's $1 billion right there. So it's going to be something that they have to really think about in the United States before they actually back out of that. Maybe they'll, reorganize the United Nations, call it something different, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Russia will tell them not to get rid of it, you know. Who knows? I don't think that if it's closed down, I don't think the United States would want it moved anywhere else. But anyhow, that's the news that I have for right now. There's nothing really else to say. I always wanted to do a video and say, well, what would be the possible points of this negotiation about this peace between Ukraine, and what would be the trade-off, you know, between the United States and Russia. But as of yet, I haven't said anything, and it could be a much bigger trade. I mean, an agreement than you can imagine. It might be that Russia, even if they do get these regions, that they allow the United States to mine minerals in those regions that will become a part of Russia. That's very possible, you know, for a lesser percentage, or maybe the Russia will actually mine those minerals and they'll give a special discounted price to the United States. In other words, the United States would not have to put the infrastructure there to mine these minerals, and they would get a good price from Russia, and everybody will be happy, and they'll join hands and sing Kumbaya. So we'll see. Anyhow, that's about it for right now. It's almost an hour long, this video, and I really don't like doing long videos. Some people are telling me, yeah, make the long videos. I don't know. But when I see that, I said, I don't want to watch that. It's way too long. I don't really have that much time to waste. I don't know what the rest of you think. Some of you can put your opinions on there if you'd like. And again, whoever put my video up and I got like all those views, thanks very much. I appreciate that. Also, maybe view the recent videos from this one guy. What's his name? It's called a Scotsman or Scottish guy. No, Scottish guy in Moscow, but he's in Minsk at the moment. And yeah. So too bad you guys aren't here. You can't go around looking at all the pretty ladies and girls here. So that's about, anyway, that's about it for now. And I hope I can get to, like I said, another shopping mall, a new one, much newer than this one, in maybe closer to where I live on Sunday. We'll see. A little bit more crowded than this place is right now, but it's, like I said, it's a weekday. So I think in a couple hours this place is really going to have a lot of people. So that's it for right now. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one, probably tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.